Unbelievable.
All right, I'll start us in now just so we can get it going. Welcome to episode number 15 of the podcast. We're going to recap the Midstate Massive today. So, as usual, I have myself, Brian, Josh is here, Ryan is missing for the day, and our guest star, Ryan Pelletier, who ran the race. So,
Thanks.
and Binks is there on camera too. For those that don't know, if you're listening to it audio-wise, we're going to try to post it video-wise on the Junk Miles YouTube page, which I'll share the link with, so you can see what we look like at the same time if you're into that. But if not, continue to listen.
YouTube page?
Yeah, I have it all. So we'll
Wow.
They can
post.
see my dirty apartment. Oh no.
That's all right.
We crop my video.
Yeah, I'll take care of that. Post-production, we'll take care of that. All right, so we tried this one other time. We had an epic technical failure because of on my end, so we're doing take two. So let's do a quick recap of the whole race. You guys were there. You were crewing along with Padraig and Lara, and I was out there volunteering with Ryan, so we got to see a little bit. But why don't you take us through the start to the finish, what you encountered, what you didn't encounter, what you liked, what you hated, and give those guys for next year a little insight as to what's happening.
Well, it was a unique start because it was COVID, so it was a staggered start, and so people were starting the race anywhere from 8 in the morning until 11 in the afternoon, I think, or noontime. And Ryan was fortunate enough to get what we have 11 a.m. start, Ryan.
I don't remember.
It was like 11:10 or something like that. So,
10,
somewhere in the early 11s.
Second to last group. They were grouped in each hour. Like I think 12 people went off, and it would go off on like 2-minute intervals or minute intervals, and then they would take like a 45-minute break, and then send out another group. And I went out either 10 or 11. I think it was 11 actually, because then I don't remember, but it was a later start than usual. Then I don't know. It was a late start.
This is the staggered start. There's the race director, and there's Ryan getting ready to go off. Yeah, it was. He must have it 11:06, I guess. He was getting ready to go, and they went off. Every few seconds after the start time. So that was different. There was no mass start. There weren't a lot of people anywhere that we went, and then he started on the most technical portion of the whole race, which Ryan loved. It sounded like he really liked jumping rocks. And
yeah, he started at Waypack. I don't really know however you pronounce it.
The Wapak. Yep. The Wapak.
Wapak. And that's basically where we started. And I think we did. So we started in New Hampshire and did that all the way to, I think it ends in about Massachusetts, where you pick up the Midstate Trail. Because that trail, the first trail you start on is actually like blue blazers. You do that for a little while, and then you pick up the yellow blazers. Go down to, I don't know. The only thing I remember going down to Mount Wachusett. So I don't remember how far that was, but it wasn't that far, like 30 miles.
Yeah, it was like a marathon when you got to Wachusett.
Yeah.
Yeah, the marathon, you get to it, and then you go over it, which is another like 5 or 6 miles. So it's around 50 to get over it. So let's say the first 50K is definitely the hardest part. It was pretty technical terrain that I'm not good at running. So it took a while. I think what did I do the first 50K, and it had to be over 6 hours.
Yeah, it was a good long time. That's what you said. It was technical, and you're better off not getting hurt and getting to the stuff that you can run on. But it was actually a good day. It was nice temperature-wise. It was a good day.
It was nice. Apparently, a lot of people were complaining that it was warmer than what they thought. It was too hot. So apparently, people were dropping out because they weren't prepared because it was too hot.
Yeah, I think it was unseasonably warm
so a lot of
considering it was October.
Layered up and whatnot. I was sweating. Actually, I was sweating a lot.
I can tell.
And if you look at this video, everyone's in t-shirt and shorts, and it's the middle of October, so it was
I
obviously.
think I ran in just a light long sleeve the whole time. I think I put a jacket on at night for a little bit, but then I was too warm. I took it right off.
Yeah, we
Like
were
in the
out
early
there.
morning hours.
We were out there for the volunteer, and we just standing around, and it wasn't cold at all. I didn't have gloves or anything. I just a light jacket. We went there around 6 and stayed till 1 in the morning. It wasn't, like you said, unseasonably warm.
So the first, we said first marathon portion of the race, that was the most technical, and then after that, was it mostly roads or was it smooth trail and roads, or what? How did it break down?
The first 50K was all trail, all like technical trail, but short bursts that you could maybe get like a mile and actually running. But the rest was just a slow going for me. The hardest part was actually going downhill because I had foot issues and shoe issues. So every time I'm going down a hill, my shoes weren't tied tight enough, so my feet were jamming in. And I've never felt that before, so I didn't even know what it was. I thought it was just how it's going to be. I don't know. I thought it was the shoe, actually. I didn't even think at the time, like, you should probably tighten your shoes up. So then pretty much after it was just, your normal New England trail, I guess, rocky and rooty for the next, like, 20 miles or so. I didn't get much roads till after mile 50, I believe. Because I remember picking up the Pacer Padre and then, like, starting running, and I'm like, yeah, figures now we can start. Like, I was joking, like, now we can start running. It was like 17 miles of roads after mile 50. I don't know if that's right.
That?
But
wow. Okay. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, the Strava shows you 13,000 feet of elevation gain, and from your profile on Strava, it looks like it starts up and goes downhill until you hit Wachusett, then it's up the big hill, then it's down again mostly until you get the roads.
Yeah, it felt the first 30 miles felt all uphill.
Yeah, those hills are not fun. I've been out there for the little Wapak, 8-mile race or whatever it is.
Not like a running hill.
No, it's not a running hill. It's a rock climbing expedition.
Yeah. So then, like, the rolling hills, no, it wasn't hilly. It was not a hilly course.
And the course is not really marked except for the blazes on the trail, which seemed to be a problem for a lot of people out there at the aid station when they were coming in.
Yeah, that was one of the main challenges, I guess you want to say, is just navigation. Even the trail's marked with these yellow blazers, and if anyone, you go on a trail and they're faded and it's just not marked very well. Like, I had a problem even in the beginning, just getting up to like the top of a hill and getting on the rock face, and you got to look down on the rocks to try to find where the blue blaze, because at this time it was blue, and you got to try to find it, and a lot of them were faded, and there's different paths to go back down, so that was kind of a pain. And then once you get to the Midstate Trail, it's just little tiny yellow blazes on trees. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes there are little faded blazers. But that, I mean, if you read the race report going into it, that. So I try not to let it affect me too much. I think I got mad, like pissed off like once about trying not being able to find where I was. But
yeah, especially at night with those little blazes. It's not like they're reflector blazes. They're just regular yellow triangles. Yeah.
At night, once I picked up Padre, it was a lot easier because I just kind of gave him I was more worried about tripping on rocks and roots than navigating anymore.
Sure, that makes sense. Yep. What we're talking about before. Just following the trail was one of the biggest things you had talked about. Around Wachusett too, you had gone off trail a little bit, and you had to pick yourself back up to the trail. But there are other places. It's just difficult to follow because of those little yellow blazes. That's all.
Yeah, on Wachusett, got off the trail, and I'm jumping down these rocks, thinking like this is ridiculous. I can't believe I'm doing this, and it was ridiculous, and I couldn't believe no one else was doing it because I was going the wrong way down this stupid rock face, and I get down to like the bottom, and there was like 3 girls rock climbing, and right then I knew, like, yeah, I'm not on the trail, right? So I had to climb back up the rocks, go back where I was, and get back on the trail. So that's like, it adds up. That's like 15 minutes right there, and then adds up after a while. Even after like every intersection, you got to stop and look at your phone or GPS or just looking for a yellow blazer. Half the time, you're just looking for someone else where, you know where you're going? Yeah, I know where I'm going. And then you start following that person. So.
That was the other thing about that race is you had to have your phone out all the time because you're trying to follow the course on your. That must have been difficult too.
Yeah, it slows it down. You don't even think about it. I didn't really think about it either too. But now you go back to it. Like after every intersection, you got to, like, for me at least, I had to take out because I didn't know where I was. So I take out my phone, look where I was, load it up, like load up the map, and it adds up.
Yeah, it slows you right down.
Now, how did that app work? Was it located your GPS and showed where you were on the map, or you just had to kind of look at the markings and figure it out?
So they start you off with like the app's called Race Joy, and it's cool, but it's just not, the app's just not there yet. It just kills your phone. It drains everything.
Right.
And it doesn't, like, every time for me, it just kept shutting off. It wasn't loading. Like if my phone would go on sleep and it would come back and it wouldn't load. So I ended up turning it off and just using, I either use All Trails or Gia, whatever that app is. One of those trail apps. But
yeah, even we tracked them for the majority of the race using that app, and even for us, we had better service than he did, and it still wasn't even that good.
The app's a cool idea. It was, but it just kills your battery, and it just didn't work right.
It's great for the crew too when it actually works, because it allows us to kind of know exactly where he is as the runner. So like we know, all right, like he'll be here in 10 minutes or he'll be here in 3 hours. So we kind of have an idea of like what we should be doing. But then like half the time we would have no idea where he was.
Yeah, because a lot of times the crew stations that we drove to, they're only like 15 minutes apart, and we got there, and Ryan actually had like a 7-mile run in between them, so it took him a lot longer to get there than it did for us to drive. So it was nice to know where he was, but at night we were trying to track him, and it was showing him off course all the time, and that wasn't true. It was just inaccurate, so that made it more difficult.
And if he shut the app off, obviously you guys weren't getting his location.
Yep.
Yeah, or if he leaves his phone in the car, you don't get his location either.
Yeah, I left my phone on the bumper of the car.
They're like, he's right here. He's somewhere. He's right with us. He's here.
That was early.
That was
still daylight out. And then I get, I don't know, like not even a half mile away, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't have my phone. And now I'm thinking, I'm like, do I go back? Because I'm like, do I go back and get my phone? Because I'm gonna get lost. I don't want to get lost. And do they even know it's there? Because I left it. I'm sitting on the bumper of the car. I just left it on the bumper, so it really would have been easy for them just to shut the hood, shut the trunk of the car, and not even notice it. It's a black case.
Right.
So I'm worrying about that for the next mile, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah, luckily there wasn't a lot of time between when you left it and when we saw you next. I think it was like one of the shortest distances. But then another time he knowingly left it in the car, and that's when he got lost. Another time.
Yeah.
That was bad advice from Padre. We told him he didn't need it.
Bad advice, poor decision.
We haven't gotten lost yet.
So I got lost with Padre really good one time. We're on the road section, and we were moving pretty good. I was struggling the whole time, but it was roads, so I could run on the roads.